Hey everyone, so I have an inspirational message that I want to share with you today. It's been a while since I've shared an inspirational word, so this will be my first inspirational word that I'm sharing for 2020. But as many of you know who have watched my videos for quite some time, you know that God gives me revelation in everyday things. And so when God gives me this revelation, it blesses me. And so I want to bless and encourage other people. So this message is entitled Growth in the Stretching. Growth in the stretching, or growing in the stretching, whichever one you prefer. So I recently took out my crochet braids. And I was in crochet braids back to back for 6 months, from August all the way up until this month. Well, almost really 6 months. It really would have been 6 months in February, but I'm just going to say 6 months. I'm just going to round it up, okay? So I was in crochet braids back to back for 6 months. And before I went into crochet braids, I was permed. But since I've been in crochet braids for 6 months and I haven't gotten a perm for 6 months, I am now back natural, and I'm okay with being natural. I'm okay with being natural because I know how to take care of my natural hair. It took me a couple of tries. I've been natural I've gone back and forth between natural and the creamy crack, as people call it, the perm, for those who don't know what I'm referring to. I've gone back and forth between the natural and being permed several times. And so I'm used to being natural, but one of the things that I had to learn how to take care of my hair in its natural state. You can't take care of your hair in the same way that you would if it was permed. And I'm going somewhere with this. So don't tune me out just yet. I'm going somewhere with this. But what I've learned about my hair when it was natural, I learned that I have 4C hair. And so for my fellow natural sisters, 4C hair is very coarse. And normally, like, if you wash 4C hair, it's going to draw up. Like, your hair can be down here and you have 4C hair. By the time you wash it, it might be up to here. Like, seriously, it's going to draw up. And so 4C hair experiences what we call in the natural world a lot of shrinkage, because our hair just soaks up water. But what I have learned over the past 6 months is that when my hair is stretched, when it's in a state of being stretched, it will grow. Because for the longest time, when I had shorter natural hair, meaning like 1 to 2 inches, I would just wet it and do what we call a wash and go, where you wet it, you condition it, you shampoo it or whatever, and you just wash and go. But the thing is, it keeps your curls real tight, because it's not being manipulated, it's not being stretched. But what I've learned with my hair being in crochet braids for the past 6 months, my hair, clearly, as we can see, it will grow in its natural state, but it had to be stretched in order to grow. So I want to say to some of you who are watching and you wonder why so far 2020, it feels like it's been a repeat of 2019, or all of your 2019, it was horrible. It was bad. And it was one test after another, one trial after another, one thing after another. You felt like you were constantly in the valley and everybody else was on the mountaintop. I just want to encourage you today and say that there is growth in your stretching. There is purpose in your stretching. God does not use these stretching moments in our lives. They will not be in vain. Nothing that God does in our lives, it will not be in vain. There's growth in your stretching, but during that stretching time, I encourage you to activate your faith beyond what you can see. Activate your faith beyond the pressure that you feel. Activate your faith beyond the stress and the stretching that you feel, the tension that you feel. That tension, though, I've noticed many times when and talking about tension in hair, it's that tension and it's that pulling, once again, that encourages that growth. When natural hair is just all just curled and tight to the head and it's not being manipulated, it doesn't grow. But natural hair, my type of natural hair, grows when it's being stretched and when it's being manipulated and when I feel that tension in my hair. The same thing with you in your life. You're feeling that tension because God has something else on the other side of that tension. You probably can't see it right now. You're probably very agitated. You're probably very frustrated, but there is a purpose for the stretching that is going on in your life. And let me prove it to you in the Word, because God showed me this in the Word. In Matthew chapter 12, starting at verse 9, going through 13. This whole text is talking about Jesus healing on the Sabbath. And so Jesus was in the synagogue, and there was a man that he noticed with a deformed or a withered hand. And so the Pharisees, of course, they were questioning God, and they were questioning Jesus, and they were saying, well, can you heal on the Sabbath? Are you supposed to heal on the Sabbath? And Jesus answered in verse 11, and he said, if you had a sheep that fell into a well on the Sabbath, wouldn't you work to pull it out? Of course you would. And how much more valuable is a person than a sheep? Yet the law permits a person to do good work on the Sabbath. So after he got them together, he said to the man, hold out your hand. So the man's hand is withered. Okay, the man's hand is curled up. I can imagine a person with a withered hand, their hand being curled up, their hand being tight. He told the man to stretch out his hand. Now that's unusual to me. How are you going to tell somebody with a withered up, tight hand to stretch out his hand? But let me tell you what this shows me. This shows me that this man had to activate his faith. Maybe the man, it doesn't say what the man, was thinking during the time, but guess what the man did? It says, so the man held out his hand and it was restored just like the other one. So the man had to activate his hand in order to stretch it out to get the miracle. So what I want to encourage you to do, keep activating your faith in the stretching process. Keep decreeing and declaring what God has already told you. Keep decreeing and declaring what you want to see but you haven't seen yet. You have to activate your faith during the stretching process. Do not allow the enemy, do not allow your emotions, do not allow your feelings, do not allow the time that has passed, do not allow anything to keep you from stretching and activating your faith in the stretching process. Okay, I just wanted to encourage somebody right quick tonight, because that blessed me. Okay, that really blessed me, because so many times we get into these periods and these moments in our lives where, it's like, God, I know you told me this. I've been prophesied this several times. And God, if one more person prophesies to me about this or or you send another confirmation about this, but it still hasn't happened, and you're feeling that tension, you're feeling that agitation, we have to keep ourselves we had to first of all keep ourselves hopeful. We cannot allow ourselves to we cannot allow our hearts to get bitter or sick. We have to keep our hope and trust in Jesus, and we have to activate our faith in the stretching, in God doing this stretching, in the tension, in the frustration, in the agitation. We have to activate our faith. And then here's another thing that God showed me. This whole thing with this miracle, with Jesus healing this man with a withered hand on the Sabbath, the whole thing to me is unusual. He wasn't supposed to heal on the Sabbath, okay? But Jesus said, I'm going to heal on the Sabbath anyway. So I decree and declare that as you activate your faith in the stretching, God is going to not only meet your expectations, he's going to exceed your expectations, and he's going to bless you with unusual favor. He's going to bless you with unusual blessings. He's going to bless you with surprise and unexpected blessings. I decree and declare over us that this is what God is going to do as we activate our faith, as we trust him more, as we press past the stretching, as we walk in obedience and keep our hearts right and stay in position and stay in purpose and stay in the right posture. I decree and declare that God is going to honor us, and he's going to honor our faith activation. Sometimes all it takes is for you to do one thing that's different in order for God to move in a different way in your life. So I just wanted to leave you with that tonight. That has gotten me excited. That has gotten my spirit stirred. I just wanted to bless someone with this message. And so if this blessed and encouraged you, I pray that you I pray that you will, share it with other people and just stay encouraged. We have to stay encouraged, and we have to continue to activate our faith in the stretching, because there is growth in the stretching. God bless you.